What's up, guys? How we doing? Yeah, a little bit late. I know. LA Kid, you're right. There's three things trust are certain in life: death, taxes, and Josh being late on a stream. We're significantly late, but we're here. So there's a good reason for it. I will take the blame, though. So appreciate everybody hanging out. It is the Thursday night hangout as opposed to the Friday night hangout. We will have the Friday night hangout. It'll just be the live stream for the Eagles and Packers game in Brazil. But of course, before we jump into, got a very special guest on. I want to just preface this and make sure you're not seeing double whenever I throw him on here. I've got a twin I've mentioned a couple times. He is a Packers fan. So we'll get to that really quickly, though. I do need to mention the official sponsor of the Philly Special Show. So shout out to Underdog Fantasy. And if you've not already, you've got about, 45 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less than that now. But the Philly Specials picks of the night. Got Isaiah Likely higher than 16.5 receiving yards and Patrick Mahomes higher than 19.5 rushing yards. There's my pick. I love it. If you haven't already, sign up with Underdog. Use my code Philly Special. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And again, shout out to Underdog because they are awesome. And kudos to them for lots of the giveaways, kind of helping towards that and the things that we have going on. You guys know the helmets, of course. We're giving those away once we hit 75,000 subs. Also, Marvin McFarland is apparently not a real person because he's not claimed the LaShawn McCoy helmet, the signed one that you see there. So probably give that away, maybe tomorrow night. We'll see. Yes, Tyler, someone said death, taxes, and Josh being late on the live. But we're here. So without further ado, though, I got to introduce my twin brother, Caleb, and we'll bring him onto the stream. There you go. The man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. I've talked about him quite a bit, but how's it going, bro?
What's up? It's good to be here.
And that's a great shirt you have on, by the way, too. People are going to probably quickly call that out. But for people that are just seeing that, Caleb and I were wearing that at the CrossFit competition. So it is the official. It hasn't been fully released. We're making a few minor tweaks on it, but looking pretty good on you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I had an inside track to it, so I actually asked Gentry what I should wear, and this was the shirt that she picked. So
that's perfect. I mean, honestly, I was curious if you were going to go with a Packers shirt. So, and we'll get into that again because
I thought about it. I did think about it, but I figured I would run with this.
It is funny because we're getting immediate comments, which I knew we were going to have that. But somebody says, which one is which? There's another comment of this is pre-recorded. It's just me as well. But,
Well, see, people might think that until we start talking, and then they're going to realize that you're the one that's built for this and not me.
But see, the difference that I've also told people is I can... You could still you could do this. You could get away with this and no one's gonna die. I could not do what you do without killing someone. So there's a little bit of difference. Caleb is an orthopedic surgeon, so for those that are wondering. But here you go. Obviously,
dang, if only I was out practicing right now, it'd be a good plug.
That's honestly, yeah, for real. And people, I mean, they're saying like to Josh's. Because Caleb can't see the chat, so letting him make sure. But
I know it does make it challenging not seeing the chat.
If you had two screens set, then you can actually see it. But then there's kind of a delay, so it's all good. Someone says, "Is that AI, Josh?" This is you're good, man. But Caleb, Packers getting run into the dirt tomorrow. What do you think about that? Packers are they getting run into the dirt?
I don't think we're getting run into the dirt. I will say I am picking us to lose, so all the fans will be happy about that. But I don't think we're getting run into the dirt. I actually think it's going to be close.
All right. So do you have a official score prediction if you were going to go with something for right now?
I was thinking about it earlier. I'm going to say 24-21 Eagles, and I think the game. I think it comes down to the last drive, and I'm not saying that the Eagles win on the last drive, but I'm saying either something like the Eagles are coming down and kicking a field goal to win it, or the Packers have the ball and don't win it. But I think it comes down to the last drive.
Okay. Well, you guys have a better kicker than last season, so at least,
yes, we do.
I mean, it's not saying much, I guess, but it's better than it could be.
Honestly, that was one of the best moments of the off season for me is whenever I saw that he got released. I was like, praise the Lord.
You don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah, especially after that being the way were bounced from the playoffs. That was brutal.
I mean, I was rooting for you guys. Obviously, once we were, done, and the fact that you guys beat the Cowboys, everybody knows,
Yeah.
But
Oh yes.
that was a big benefit. So I'm like, all right, hey, go ahead and do that. Take care of business with the Niners. I thought y'all were going to do it. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Jamarcus here says that we both sound the same. See, I was wondering if we might sound very similar, but
well, Jamarcus, our wives sometimes can't tell who's who on the phone, so
it can get dangerous. So
that has happened.
You have to, as far as the. Did you see Ryan says, Josh, did you clone yourself to start a Clone Wars? No, I did not. I am, and I'm on the left side. Yes. I guess it depends on which one you're watching, but yes, on the left there. I've got 27-24, so I do think it's like similar, like very close scoreline. It seems like it's probably. I feel like it's going to be close. We've got a couple injuries, some starters that are out. Devin White, Isaiah Rodgers. Depending on who you ask, maybe they weren't going to be starters. I think that they were. Regardless, you got a couple guys, but you guys don't seem to have too many. It sounded like Marshawn Lloyd, maybe not. I think it was a hamstring injury, just for backup runner, and then a couple other like minor injuries. It didn't appear to be something crazy or extreme. But with Jordan Love himself, I mean, he got the contract. I remember obviously like Jalen Hurts getting the contract, highest paid quarterback for like 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden, it's just like the leapfrog over after the next. But Jordan Love got the big contract. Do you feel like he's worth it? I mean, it's a very small sample size, but you expecting big things from Jordan Love? Is there going to be a regression at all? Not living up to the contract, anything like that, or where are you at with Jordan Love?
I love it. I was skeptical at the beginning of last season, and he didn't play great at the beginning of last season. But the last half of the year, I mean, I think he led all quarterbacks in QBR. He had like 18 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think even talking to Matt LaFleur, he was kind of saying, he felt like he was somewhat responsible because, I mean, you got to try to bring him along slowly. And he said about midway through the season, he realized, all right, look, we got to have some explosive plays. So he started opening up the playbook, and you saw what happened. I think he's the real deal. I mean, I'm excited. I'm glad that they gave him the contract. I think he's just going to keep getting better. And the thing is his season statistically was better than Aaron Rodgers' first season with the Packers. So, I think the sky's the limit for him. I'm definitely excited. My only frustration really recently is that I wasn't able to get him on my fantasy football team because the guy before me went ahead and drafted 4 quarterbacks.
I don't know I mean, he's obviously not winning. I don't think that's a winning recipe. If you're drafting 4 quarterbacks in a fantasy football draft.
He's not going to win. But
he took your guy.
It ruined my strategy because I was sitting there like, oh, I'll pick up Love here towards the end, and he just needed a 4th quarterback.
Who'd you end up going with?
Oddly enough, Aaron Rodgers is who was left on the board.
There you go.
That's who I took.
Take the forward pack. You might as well. That's the previous guy.
The ultimate wild card. We'll see. We'll see if he stays healthy.
Yeah, if he can last. Surely he can last at least a little bit longer than last. It's not saying much, but a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit longer.
I mean, surely more than one play, 2 plays.
Oh, for sure. Spill was saying, literally, me and my twin brother are watching all right now. Let's go. Heck yeah, got some other twins watching, so we appreciate that. Also, I'm curious on yours as well. John asked this question: who's your lock for anytime touchdown tomorrow? I've got one for sure. You can take some time if you need a second as far as your anytime touchdown tomorrow. Mine is Saquon Barkley. I mean, I know it's a bias, but like Saquon's had a pretty good track record against you guys. Like last season, I don't know what y'all were doing losing to the Giants last year. The year before that, I don't know what y'all were doing losing to the Giants in London. Both games, Saquon scored touchdowns in. So, I think we just keep it up, and he's behind a better O-line. So Saquon is my anytime touchdown scorer. That feels like a pretty strong lock. But anybody else that you see, maybe a Packer, because I can understand the bias there, but any anytime touchdown that you like?
Oddly enough, and because see, people are going to think that we talked before this, but Saquon is who I would have picked. So
That's
so
fair.
that would have been my lock. If
You
I
can
have
keep it
to,
as your lock. I mean, we don't want you to be gambling any
well, but
money just because you're taking some other one. Don't
yeah, no,
tell
yeah,
your
because
wife. Don't tell
people are
Gentry.
looking, yeah, people are here looking for me to give them a lock. Actually, if you want more of a lock, what I would do is I would take your money and go take the over on 9.5 wins for the Packers this year. Is what I would do.
Okay.
Um, that
Is it
that
really
that would
just
be
nine
my
and a
other
half?
lock. It's 9.5.
Oh my gosh, that's kind of wild. I
Yep.
mean, I get.
It,
I guess
if
some of
I
the.
was setting it, I would have set it at 10. Um, and I'm still I may be a little optimistic, but I think the Packers, just looking at the schedule, could go 11-6. I think conservatively could go 10-7. So whenever I saw 9.5, I was like, man, I'd take the over all day on that. But Saquon
Yeah.
would be my lock. So for
There you go.
anybody who's looking for a lock tomorrow, that's it. And and you should feel better about it because Joshua and I did not talk about this beforehand. So the fact that we both have the same lock, I mean, it
That's
couldn't
fair.
get any
Yes.
better than that.
Albeit we are twins, so we might not necessarily have to talk about anything. And then all of a sudden it's going to be, well, okay, we'll
Yeah, I
take the
guess the
same one.
telepathic communication or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But like you said, I mean, you heard it here first. This is an unbiased, well, biased, I guess, in the opposite direction. But if he's saying that Saquon's locked, then just go ahead. Go up
He is on
for.
my fantasy football team, but
Well, there's maybe a little bit of preferential treatment then, but still, if it came down to what it's going to take to actually win, then you would probably gladly say, okay, don't get a touchdown. But it's not too
yeah.
bad. There's plus odds for an anytime touchdown. So I like that one. But John, that was a good question. Let me get the super chat here from Justin. Justin, appreciate the two bomb man. Said win or lose, it's going to be a good game. Totally agree. I mean, we're both on board with that. With close
Mhm.
scores, could come down to a field goal. We're gonna see. It's a Friday night game, which is it feels so odd. Like right now, Thursday night game, Chiefs and Ravens. I believe what kick off in like 30 minutes. Uh, that feels normal because we have the Thursday, but tomorrow's gonna feel strange because I'm used to like okay Thursday you kind of have that pre. I don't know. It's like yes, the NFL season kicked off, but it doesn't fully feel like that till you get to Sunday, the first Sunday, where it's like, all right, here's the full slate of games, and here we go. But you're gonna have that like literally tomorrow. We just have a I don't know, kind of like a losing the word for it, but like a sequel, I suppose, as far as like the opener goes. And then being in Brazil, but what are your thoughts? And this is a little bit of a dicey subject, so if you're not fully aware, I can get you up to date. But have you heard any of the rumblings of Brazil and the concerns or the conspiracies or the very polarizing viewpoints on playing in Brazil and the concerns there? Are you up to date on that? If you're not, that's perfectly fine.
I'm
Because
probably not completely. So I did hear that they've like bolstered security and that kind of thing, but I don't know if I know all of the details beyond that.
okay, all right, okay, I can get you up to date. Again, Caleb he's in the business of improving lives. Like I'm just chatting about sports. So
No, so do you
it's
though. You
maybe not to the same extent. Like someone's knee is hurting and yours is like, okay, well, here you go. Let's make it better. Let's improve your quality of life. Mine, not as much. So you don't have as much time to just delve into the world of news slash conspiracy theories and fake news. But it's the day and age of misinformation. So it's hard to know for sure. But the big, I guess, more so storylines were like there are like 30 fires around Brazil and the air quality not being great. And there's Corinthians Arena where the game's being played. The home club wears black and white, and the rival club wears green. And so people are like, oh my gosh, like no, you do not wear green. It's absolutely just about outlawed. It's very much frowned upon. Um, so then the natural like thought along that is like, oh great, so you pick two teams that do wear green, that are green in their main color, and one has green in their team name. That feels like a great idea for the NFL to do.
Mm.
So it's just like Brazil had X or Twitter banned right before this too. So like all the beat writers that use Twitter have to use a VPN or don't, just like send it off to the intern who's back at the States. And say, here you go, tweet this. Just like, one thing after another. And then also players saying like, no, I'm just staying in the hotel. I told my family don't come, the crime rate, everything else. So there's a lot of different things. And you get people that are like, no, that's not true. Or, hey, it's overblown. Or, hey, Philly has a worse crime rate. Like it's all over the place. And so some of it is truthful. Some of it is probably overblown, like I said. But thoughts on a game in Brazil with all that extra context that still some of it is probably not true. I'm maybe helping you to just like walk on a mine right now, but
Well, so yeah, no, I mean the context helps. I will say that it's got to be safer. I've never been to Philly. Obviously, you've been to Philly, but it's got to be just at baseline much more dangerous than Philly or Green Bay or a lot of these cities because last I heard there has never been a player that's had their head cut off and put on a stake in the middle of a field, which I know that's happened in Brazil before.
yeah,
Um,
well, that's
so, so to some degree, I knew that there's a chance for violence. Although I figured that's probably more with soccer than
yeah, that's
football.
probably a little bit different. And I don't even know what location that was. I don't know if that was Sao Paulo or not.
Yeah, no,
That's
it may
a
not have been.
little bit overkill.
My story is on very very limited facts. Other than I just know that it happened. I have no idea when or exactly where in Brazil that happened. Um, but yeah, no, I think it doesn't sound like the most ideal location for the NFL maybe to be branching out as far as just safety concerns and that kind of thing. I mean, I'm sure they're going to have plenty of extra security. I would imagine I could be wrong, but I would imagine that the NFL is going to make sure that the actual stadium, once players get there and the game is started and all that is secure. It may just be away from the stadium potentially. Again, without having been there, I mean, I can't necessarily speak to it, but yeah, no, it could be interesting.
Yeah, it's again, it's like the NFL money grab of like you're trying to, I guess, corner as if you haven't already, but the global market because you have everywhere else in the U.S. So it's branch out to London, Brazil, Germany. It's just all over the place. So it kind of makes sense there. But it is interesting whenever you have some players that are coming out too, and they're like, no, I don't want to go. This is dangerous. I'm not sending my family. I'm not telling them to come. And then you have some others that are like, no, it's all good, no big deal. So you just get two very difference of opinion, difference of views. Understandably, some of it also might be just like naive and not really knowing, not having been there. But it is just crazy of how much it like blew out of, I don't know if I should say necessarily out of proportion, but just like you didn't feel, I just didn't expect it, I guess, off the forefront. And then all of a sudden it becomes a major storyline. So,
Oh yeah, yeah,
nonetheless, they're doing it. So we pray for safety and hopefully everyone comes back, no issues. You don't want to see anything obviously negative in that sense, but fans and
yeah.
players alike, everybody there. Maybe it's a good thing that Brazil's playing a qualifier, I think, against like Colombia tomorrow night as well. So extra
Oh
attention
shoot,
towards
I
that,
was gonna
maybe.
say they won't
Or is it
they won't even know
Venezuela? It's one of them.
they won't even know there's a football game going on then.
Maybe not. It's just like, oh, well, that actually took place. Who knew?
It'd be like 99% of televisions will be on
Yeah.
the Brazil game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because, that's the main sport, as makes sense for Brazil. But Mega John here says, I don't think these guys look the same. Okay, there you go. I should have started
All
a
right.
poll, actually, because there's some people that absolutely see it. And then Eric saying both of you guys look like brothers. All right. That
We are.
seems like that. I guess you could make sense that way. Let's see. Is it Torrance? Torrance Bowie says, y'all twins with a question mark. I don't know what would give you that impression. We are, but let's see. I think I got another. Oh, this is just more of a factual statement for you. Let's see. Oh, actually, Master Drumming first. I'll get this one. It says, hey, Josh, this is so trippy. There's two of you. I was trying to preface. I mentioned it multiple times. I was like, all right, hey, for the Packers game, because you are a Packers fan, that we'll get you on, and people will probably be like, wait, what? I'm seeing double. Or
Yeah.
at least y'all look alike. So I feel like as we've aged, maybe not as much. There's more differences anyway, but like younger pictures, like we've sat there and looked at it, and I get half of them wrong. I think if I'm guessing, like, oh, who is that? Is that me or you? I'm like,
Yeah, some of them are hard to tell for sure. I think
there's
that
a
the best one though is like, I mean, probably more so when we were growing up, because again, now I feel like we probably look a little bit more different. But when we were growing up, when people would come up and be like, "Are y'all related?" Like, it's
nasty.
like, come on, like we definitely look enough alike that we're related. Like, what does that even mean?
It's all the standard questions that twins get, and only twins can relate to it, But you get
Yeah.
the like, are y'all related? Are y'all brothers? And then you automatically get into like, who's faster, who's taller, who's smarter, who's like everything else with the comparison there. But
Well,
uh,
and then in every group, like you're the twins, like
oh,
you are
totally,
one
totally.
unit. So whoever those guys are that are on here, the twins that are watching us, see that they probably get it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And Sidney Brown, who I'm sure is a big fan of the channel and show. He's the Eagles safety. I'm not sure if you're as up on players or whatnot, but second year player, he had injured his ACL, and so he's recovering from that. But high hopes for him. He's a twin, and then his twin brother plays on the Cincinnati Bengals. So they both went to Illinois. His brother Chase is a running back for the Bengals, but they did like kind of a feature on him and just talking about like the differences. And he was like, man, it's just it's different. Like it's strange to be in a different location because you've grown up basically your entire life having a built-in best friend and like someone right there that you're doing life with, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, well that's kind of it. Like I'm on my own. I was kind of already, but in a way not. And so I know that like we can relate to that. And so whenever I've seen it, I was like, man, that seems like a pretty cool story that I can certainly, attest to the fact of what he's feeling and what he's saying. But we tried to get him on the show a couple times. I feel like eventually we'll make it work because we do have some connections there. But that just reminded me in terms of like twin stories and kind of an Eagles
Yeah, yeah.
connection. So let's see the super chat. Oh, I was going to mention here. I did throw it up on the screen, but it says it's from Bald Eagle. So appreciate the two, but just more of a make sure you know this. But said, "Hey bud, Packers are trash" with a peace emoji. So
Thank you, thank you.
maybe not taking. Doesn't sound like Bald Eagle would take your lock if the 9.5, the over 9.5 wins for the Packers this year. It's
Okay,
just
all right.
going based off of the super chat. I don't know.
Hey, I'm just trying to win people money.
They'll be at the end of the season they may be kicking you.
Yeah.
See, Rob here is saying, actually, Dylan, shout out to Dylan. What's up, man? Hopefully the trip was good. I guess you're still there, maybe coming back. But said Josh trying out the new AI on stream, lol. And then Rob saying, I know Josh just pre-recorded the video on the right. I knew that we were going to get that.
Yeah, I wonder if people would say that.
Jay Battles says Thomas is just using a Josh D filter today. Okay, that's an interesting one. There's let's see. I think there's another one here. Frank from Philly. Y'all's parents must love the letter J. You got Josh and John. I suppose. So maybe I've mentioned John before. I think maybe I have. But your name is Caleb, obviously. So for people that are not aware, this is Caleb. This is not John. John is short for Jonathan. I think I've mentioned him a couple times. He's the Cowboys fan. He likes to root for those. I am older. Yes, actually, we had a good comment there. If they're asking, I'm older by a minute. Still
Well, I
counts.
thought it was a statement. I thought they were like, either you've said it or they just know it.
Maybe, yeah. Andrew said, Andrew said Josh is older, I think. So, correct.
Correct.
Would you like to share this story? We got a correct question from Greg. Well, the first one I just answered, which was the who's older. But then he said, did you play twin games on people like Switch Up?
Yes.
Would you like to share a story there?
Sure. I guess the first one that comes to mind, and one of the most successful, worked really well, was you taking my bio or my statistics class in college.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Jo- Joshua had already taken the class, and I had a few other pre-med classes that I needed to take, and that was just taking extra time to study for, and so we made a deal. I think what it was I was gonna do or take part of like your intro to bio class or something like that if you did my statistics class, and so I just I just described for you exactly where I sat on in the stats class, and you showed up
Yep.
for the final exam because there was only one final exam, and you showed up and took the exam, and I did well.
And the rest is history. There you go.
I think the funny thing is I think I told you like because I like intentionally didn't really make many friends in that class so that like there wouldn't be questions. There was like one person that kind of knew who I was, and so I just told you just like avoid that side of the room so that nobody asks.
Yeah, don't say anything. It was well, it was also because how early was the class again? It was it like at 8 a.m.? It was a really early
Yeah,
class.
probably
So
so.
that
Yeah,
that
I think
helped
it was
contribute
8 a.m.
to that. Yeah. Um but no, that was a pretty funny one. I enjoyed that. Um we've had others too. Just like I remember switching like seats in classes and um doing some other stuff as well, like high school, junior high days. But once we've already had the test, it makes sense, right? Because especially for that class in particular, it was like, oh, hey, you're just going to take a couple exams, and it's all you need to do.
Yeah.
There you go. Just move on. Tequila here, appreciate the 5. Says, hi, Josh. I have twin daughters. Twins are the best. Go Birds. Go Birds. Congrats to you for having twin daughters. Twins are the best. Not that we can speak objectively on that, but
Yeah.
they are the best. I will say, I don't know how mom and dad did it because love our kids. I know you love JT, but sometimes I'm like, I
Do
don't
they
know
know?
how.
Do the fans know what his name is?
Oh well, no, I was not. I wasn't gonna just toot my own horn, I guess. But if you want to,
So yeah, so we named our firstborn, our son. He's Joshua Tripp, and so he goes by. Sometimes he goes by Joshua, sometimes he goes by JT. But the Joshua was after you, so and now all the fans know.
there you go. That is pretty awesome. I do love Mr. Bubs. Um, but
He's a happy boy.
sometimes I still think I'm like two at once and two for the first kids too. Like, whew. But
Yeah.
that's why you got the
Well,
best.
well, Gentry and I talked about it. We were like, I think it was the best case scenario for them to start with twins because I feel like at least from our experience, I think if you have one and then you have twins later, I feel like that would make it that much tougher.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
at least starting with kind of like, I mean, you don't know, you're just kind of figuring it out. I almost feel like just jumping in kind of trial by fire and just being like, all right, this is how it is. May be a better way to start.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. 'Cause, yeah, you've already at that point it should just get easier then, because you're like, okay, we've
Yeah, it's
we've
just
adjusted
downhill.
to yeah.
The other thing is, probably helped is that I was such a good baby, so it was probably almost like just having one.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you think that, sir, we can ask. We actually can ask mom if we want. It looks like this is becoming a whole family stream. There you go. Natalie Davis is on the stream. What's up, mom? Says, hey guys, good to see y'all.
All
Mom's
right.
hanging out. Appreciate that. Now we got to be careful with some of the stories. She doesn't know. She doesn't know all of them. As we move on to Frank from Philly says, convert your brother to the dark side. Nobody wants to be cheesehead. Everybody wants to be an Eagles fan. I will say, I understand. You got to indoctrinate Mr. Bubs, but at the same time,
Hmm.
he could be an Eagles fan. He definitely doesn't need to be Cowboys
Well,
fan. That will not happen. We make sure that does not happen, as opposed to some other family members on your wife's side that may want that to happen. We will not have that happen. You just hear me. It will be
I know
war. Okay,
there's a lot
I'm
of
talking
Cowboys
to
fans
you
here, so
directly. It will be war.
well, they're probably watching like in the other room, so
That's what I figured. So that's why I had
yeah,
to make that
so
statement.
that's why
It
you're
was,
speaking
yes, I
directly
look
to them.
directly into the camera. It will be war. Um, but it's at any point you are more than welcome. I've said this before. If you want to be an Eagles fan, I totally understand. But if you stay with the pack, that's all right. I can respect the fact that very early on, you didn't completely see the light, but you kind of did to not be a Cowboys fan. So you just venture on out to the
Well, yeah, I
Packers.
mean,
But
when we were playing like Xbox and I don't know, it was like Madden '05 or something like that. We never really played as the Cowboys, but we did play as the Eagles together with McNabb and Westbrook and
oh yeah,
Dawkins and all those guys. So
hmm
also one of my favorite experiences though was pretty fun. I don't know if you still have that picture somewhere. I was looking for it the other day, but when we went to Cowboy Stadium, and I think it was
yeah,
back when was Wentz the quarterback then?
yeah. It was the last
I
time
think
that the Eagles won in Dallas. It was 2017.
okay,
Yeah, I couldn't find that
yeah,
picture for some reason. I was like, I have a million pictures on the phone, so I think that's why I probably scrolled past it. But I was trying to find it
hmm
for the stream here. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because I remember I actually still remember my tagline because I think I was proud of it whenever I posted it whenever I had social media. But it was America's team versus America's bird.
I forgot about that. That was actually pretty good. Yes. Now it might be both. I
But
mean, quite honestly.
but we
So
we both had an Eagles gear on and we were getting cussed out coming into the stadium, but we were we were the ones laughing leaving the stadium.
and
So
how the turntables at the very end of that thing. That was a ton of fun. Yeah, because it was. I think it went from Dallas sucks chance to Fly Eagles fly chance, to maybe like MVP. I think to Wentz in that game at some point.
yeah,
So yeah, it was just like constantly and then taking over AT&T. I was like, this is pretty
oh
legit.
yeah.
So
It was pretty cool though because I think if I remember correctly, we had like our seats like I mean we were surrounded obviously by Cowboys in the section, but there was like two other guys that were sitting right beside us. So it was kind of like us four as like Eagles fans. So anytime the Eagles did anything, we kind of had our own little section.
oh yeah, that was a good time. That was a good time. Maybe they can do it again
It's
this
fun.
year for the first time in gosh, what's it been? 7 years? 2017? 7 years? 8 years? Something like that. It's been too long since a win versus Dallas, but I think that's possible. I do believe, for a couple people asking, that the Chiefs game is potentially delayed just a little bit. I think that I saw a picture of. Let's see, I might be able to put this one up here. Lightning strike, right there. Hang on, we lost Caleb for a second. I'm trying to get this to come on screen. Well, of course that's not going to work. Oh, there we go. There you are. Okay. I'm moving with the stream here, so I had a new setup. But yeah, there's like a lightning strike, it looks like, at Arrowhead, or that was outside. So I don't know how long, if it is, but I just saw this a second ago. So um, there you go. Maybe the first home opener is delayed just a tiny bit. I'm trying to refresh if there's an actual update. I'm sure the chat already knows. The chat's usually about like 5 minutes ahead of me, and then I figure it out either from someone texting or letting people know. But let's see, 8:40. There you go. Looks like 8:40 p.m. Eastern is your update. So
Okay.
as somebody just said, off season just got 20 minutes longer. We're almost there. We've almost made it. Frank from Philly, I just saw. I'm catching up on some of these comments too, so I appreciate you guys. But we got off on a tangent. Let's see. Sorry, I missed that one. Oh, yeah, AJ is playing. He was, and I'm sure you already got confirmed that he was just resting. There you go. Yep. Okay, we're very delayed. Master drumming. Why do I exclusively use Will Ferrell and The Office clips in my videos? I've used some others, but like favorite comedy like movies are Will Ferrell and The Office show. Like there's too many references that apply for basically everything in life. So, I mean,
hmm
I don't know. There are a few others. I
They're
know
good
it's very
ones.
few and far between. Like I've used some Key and Peele, used some of those clips.
Maybe
Couple
throw in
others.
some Big Lebowski in there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we've used those.
Yep.
I've even used The Godfather because like why not? Goodfellas has
Hmm.
been ventured a few times.
Yep.
Um,
Office Space.
yep, yep. That's definitely a good one that's been used. So there have been others, but again, it's just like it's usually when it comes to me, and a lot of times I'm trying to think of like, okay, what's a good like comedic insert for this point of the show, and yeah, like I remember in college we used to watch The Office like nonstop. It was pretty much just like every single day that was on. So it's just like that's probably the immediate thing that comes to me. And then also as far as like Will Ferrell, the other guys. I mean, at this point, who knows how many times we've watched it? Like 50 times. I don't know. One of the best comedies in my opinion. So yeah, it's just like an automatic. I feel like you just have to use those as far as cutaways and clips.
Oh yeah, they're kind of front and center. I feel like there's just so many good lines. You can almost fit a clip from that movie into just about anything.
Oh yeah, yeah. So sometimes I will say that like it actually is difficult for me to tone it back down because sometimes it's like oh I'll insert like this clip and then do a different one and the different one. I'm like, okay, I need to maybe chill out because we're trying to deliver some Eagles news and not do like too off the wall. But sometimes there's just so many of those. Steve-O says, "What's up, Josh? I too have twin 7-year-old daughters." There you go. See, there's a lot more people with twins
Yeah.
than maybe I expected. But this is pretty awesome. Let's see. Guys, off topic, but did you guys ever see 8 Seconds? If not, when you have time, check it out. It's fantastic. 8 Seconds. Have you seen that? Have you heard about that?
That sounds familiar. I don't think I've seen it, but I want to say I've heard that before.
Okay.
Because
I
that
don't know that I have either.
isn't that's the am I thinking of it correctly? That's the like bull riding movie or something? Is that or is it
Yeah,
a
I'm
different
looking it
one?
up here because I felt like I'd remembered hearing it maybe, but I definitely have not seen it. So yeah, it looks like it is the bull riding. Um, yeah, I don't think I've seen it though.
Maybe I've seen previews for it, but yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
Okay, well, there's one apparently we need to.
We'll have to do it. Movie night.
There
Just
you
wait for you to come in at 2 in the morning and say, "Bro, let's watch a movie."
go. Yeah, because our schedules are completely couldn't be further apart. I think it's you're waking up when I'm going to sleep, and I'm going to sleep whenever you're waking up.
It'll be college all over again, though.
It's true.
You'd walk in at 2 in the morning. Bro, let's start a movie.
Not a better time to there's not a better time to start a movie. Let's see. I think I missed a super chat here. Let me make sure we get this one. There we go. Devontae, what's up, man? Appreciate the 5. Said my parlay is on Josh over 100 receiving yards for Friday's game. Well, you just lost. You just immediately lost that. Um, yeah, I appreciate the confidence. That's definitely not happening. Parlay for me over 100 receiving yards. Is that what you're? Even if there was even if I was out, there's no way that's happened. I'm sorry. I do appreciate the confidence. I've seen some of the wide receiver 3 considerations, and that's just it's idiotic. I'll be honest. I appreciate the confidence, but that's just not happening. Dylan also asked here, Josh and Caleb have any twin embarrassing moments / stories? Interesting. Do you have anything that comes to mind? I guess while you're thinking about that, I was going to get to this one here. Jack saying they announced what jerseys we're wearing tomorrow. Yes, they did. It's going to be the that was a little while ago. I'm sure you probably already got answered from some of the people in the chat, but I'll put it up on screen at least so we can see it, just so it's official. Where's that picture? There we go. Standard Packers colors, and the Eagles are going with the black helmets and white jerseys with green numbers and black pants with white stripes. So there you go. There's the
Dang.
official look.
We should have gone with our super old school blue and gold ugly uniforms just so we don't wear the green.
I was gonna say, yeah, that was the thought from a lot of people. It's like, all right, hey, the Packers go with that color, the Eagles figure out a way to get green out of but they still have green slightly on the numbers, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's just it's a little bit of it's a little stitious. It's not superstitious, but
Yeah.
that's what they're at. But those are the official jerseys for the Eagles. The reason the Eagles, I will say this, you guys came out with, you probably are aware, I would assume, you guys came out with all white jerseys, a whiteout uniform, which looks pretty sweet. But I think that's probably why the Eagles chose to, as a home team, to wear white jerseys, because normally we could have gone with a blackout option and then been like, oh, we're good, right? Like we could have gone blackout, you guys could have gone all whites, but neither
Hmm.
team would have had to wear green. But a little bit of some strategy there. If we wear our whites, then you can't, and you have to wear either the crap jerseys or you wear your originals and you're wearing green. So then you don't have the
Yep.
home fan support.
I would have chosen the ugly ones.
Even still, I can appreciate that. Some people live for that, so that does make sense. Seinfeld, yes, that's another one. I was gonna say that's one. It's I've used it occasionally. I've used some Seinfeld. Those are difficult to put in there. I will say because the quality is not near as good for videos that I'm finding. So, but every once in a while, I do need to probably use some more Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's another one that I've seen. I just haven't thrown in there as much. I've used Silicon Valley some. Let's see. Achilles is asking, have I ever gotten a copyright strike for using those? I have not, actually. So I think as long as I'm using a very brief section, I've tried to use longer durations of a couple clips before, and it'll flag it before I post, and then I have to go back and edit it. But yeah, that's where it's at. Nate, I'm getting to your comment late, but he says, yes, Caleb, my two favorite comedies, legit, LOL. So the mentions that you had for the movies back before,
Right.
you got a shout out from Nate.
They're good. They're good.
I love these extra comments from the movies, but don't go chasing waterfalls. And then John M., you think what I'm thinking? Aim for the bushes. Oh yeah, baby. That was. I still remember the
Classic.
first time we were watching that, and I'm like, "What in the world?" I
Hmm.
mean, you knew it was going to be like deadpan over the top, but like, what, what on earth?
You're waiting as the camera pans down. You're waiting for the bushes to appear, and then they just never appear.
Yeah, yeah. I literally thought I was like, "Oh, hey, there's something there," and then you're like, "Okay, no, it's not." Brandon, yes, I've got a twin. I've mentioned that a couple times, but this is officially him on the stream. So, we're going to make that happen. There you go. And as Joshua Barrero, that's a good first name, Josh. Appreciate that. It says, Josh, I'm just glad your brother isn't a Cowboys fan. You're right. This is the one that we can allow on the stream. I don't know if we can allow the other one or one of the other ones on the stream. He lives right down the street, but he's a Cowboys fan. So, every once in a while, do I report him to the HOA? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Anonymously, there'd be no way of knowing. He does need to cut his yard, so if he does get a warning, I don't know who that came from. He doesn't have to be a Cowboys fan. Life could be easier. So, got a super chat here. Justin, appreciate the 5. Says, what are your NFC and AFC playoff predictions? That's a good one. You ready to make any predictions yet as far as your NFC, AFC playoff predictions, or even just who makes it to the Super Bowl, or maybe the championship games? What would you go with?
Man, I feel like I think definitely my head and my heart are probably saying different things. I mean, I think if I'm going based on what I actually think is going to happen, um, I would start with the AFC and say that the AFC Championship is going to be the Chiefs and the Ravens. At least in my head, I feel like that's an easier pick.
Mm-hmm.
The NFC, I feel like there's a few teams that could come out. At the end of the day, I think if I'm picking with my head, I think I'm going to say the NFC Championship game would be the Eagles and the 49ers. I'd love to say the Packers would make that, but if I'm being realistic, I don't think the Packers are quite there yet.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, that's for you to say that, again, that's a being as objective as you can. So there's some weight in that. And the fact that you do say the Eagles, so I can appreciate that.
Yep.
I'm curious with the defense for the Eagles, because that's the main, like, I guess the more so concern. When you look on paper, you're like, oh my gosh, the Eagles, ridiculous talent on offense, should be solid, should be really good. A few question marks on defense, whether it be injuries, whether it be just players that you haven't had perform, haven't lived up to expectations yet, things like that. But I am understandably biased, but I would agree with you as far as the Eagles making it to the NFC Championship game. I think that there's lots of potential. It can happen. It wouldn't surprise me, quite honestly, if I mean I like your predictions and understand that. It wouldn't surprise me if we got a rematch from these opening night games, like Thursday night AFC Championship game, tomorrow night NFC Championship game. Like I could definitely see it. Like if all of a sudden we're hey Packers, Eagles, and Chiefs, Ravens. Now I do believe that I think the Bengals might do something. It feels like that Joe Burrow is after last year and just all that. Feels like maybe this is the year to get something back on track because they've gotten close, obviously, and there's been moments, but injuries and just derailing the seasons and things of that nature. But I can see the Bengals possibly. Josh Allen to me is just never. There's something with the Bills where it's like, man, they got some talent, they got some potential, and they maybe are going to do something, and then they just don't really live up to those expectations. So I don't think I could quite go there with a Josh Allen and the Bills. But I don't know. I would say it's probably some sort of mixture of three teams in my mind, AFC wise, of either saying Ravens, Bengals, or Chiefs are kind of like my favorites as far as the AFC, and then similarly for the NFC, I'm kind of like obviously Eagles, but Niners or Packers. You could potentially throw Detroit in there. You think that? Do you think you guys win the division at least, or do you think Detroit does it?
I don't. I say I don't. Granted, I haven't looked at their schedule to see how many wins that I think that they have. Because at least going through it, I tend to think that we're going to split the series with them. I say that they win at home and we win at home. So I don't know what their schedule looks like. Their schedule may be tougher. I don't know off the top of my head, so I'd have to look back at their schedule.
It's a first place schedule, so it's presumably tougher, but I guess no one knows officially.
Yeah, I guess if I looked at it, then potentially. What I would say is if we won the NFC North, which I'm not sure that we would, but if we did win the NFC North, I don't think that, in my mind, I don't think it's because we are a better team. I think I would still take the Lions to go further. If you're saying who is closer to making the NFC Championship, the Packers or the Lions, I think I would lean towards the Lions. But I guess depending on what their basically, I guess, division schedule looks like, I guess there's the possibility that we could end up winning the division.
Okay, so if you're putting your mortgage on it, you're not going all in on the Packers to win the division.
Again, I would not put my mortgage on that. I would put that on. I would put all of my money on the over 9.5. If anyone wants to quadruple your net worth lock of the year, put your
very dangerous. He's not a professional gambler. I'm just gonna say this right now.
Your children's college fund, on the Packers.
Now we've totally lost it here.
9.5.
Yeah.
Jonathan, who is the Cowboys fan, is a financial planner. He might try to get me to not.
Yeah, let's be careful. Caleb is just to make sure and absolutely let people know that he's not a professional gambler of any sort.
I can't do this, but this is where I need you to flash like on the bottom of the screen.
It's the gambling hotline, like 1-800.
Yeah, the gambling hotline, and also like we're not responsible for any of your financial losses or
that may happen from following advice here.
Yep.
Okay, but if you think that y'all are not going to win the division, but you're confident that it's going to be over 9.5 wins, I mean, that means you're at least getting 10, potentially
Yep.
11. How many wins do you think the Lions are winning then?
Well, and I think that's what I think that's where I'm at is because I think on the upper end of what I think that we would win would be 11. I think we'd be 11-6 on the upper end. But even being conservative, just looking at our schedule, I still think we win at least 10. Um, and so with that being said, I think the Lions win 11. I just don't know what the tiebreak would look like, especially if we ended up getting to 11-6 and they were 11-6. I don't know. I just don't know what that tiebreak looks like.
Okay, so close, but you're confident enough in the 10 to
Yeah.
11
Well,
wins. So
I think Vegas probably has it pretty close because I think we're second on the line to win the NFC North, but it's
mhm.
relatively close on the odds.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't looked in a little bit, but I know that it was very close based on those two. So it'll be interesting. Fitness Warrior here saying Josh is the one with the "Let's Run It" shirt on, right? It does seem like I might be the one that would wear that, but no, Caleb is the one who has, because we both wore it at CrossFit. That was our official, unofficial CrossFit jersey, I guess. Had to rep those, of course. So the
Yep.
shirts will be released soon. So for people that like the look of the shirt and may want to get one, we're making a couple tweaks, as I mentioned earlier, but then they'll be live for sale on the channel.
I do remember thinking that it was ironic that we wore these shirts specifically for the workout that the name of the workout was Walk Don't Run.
I didn't even actually pick up on that.
Yep.
That's actually hilarious. We waited to
Yeah,
wear
because
those.
as we were walking out there, I
It
was like, yeah,
was-
we're wearing the Let's Run It, and literally the workout is called Walk Don't Run.
well, perfect then. That was great. Even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. That is great. Okay, a couple more questions here because again, I know people are about to check out the Chiefs and Ravens game, delayed until 8:40 Eastern, so about 20 more minutes. But just hanging out, and obviously, I know your time is very valuable because you eat the blue plate special and you go to bed a little bit earlier than I do. So,
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
far as y'all's defense goes, you have a new defensive coordinator, Jeff Halfley. I'm not sure if you're up on him of just any sort of schemes or expectations or anything like that. But transitioning from a 3-4 to a 4-3, I mean that's a significant change nonetheless, just based off of that. Thoughts on getting a new defensive coordinator, especially with last year and seeing y'all's defense? Is it hopeful? Do you expect to see a little bit better things? And I guess, do you know much about Halfley or anything? Just thoughts on the new DC.
Specifically, Halfway, I don't. I don't really know a whole lot. I'd have to do some more digging, but I do, off the top of my head, I do like the fact that we're running a 4-3. Granted, most of that's because I loved running a 4-3 on Madden, and I hated running a 3-4. So, from that experience,
It's
because that translates
I was
very
gonna say it's
very
a very
well.
professional analysis on that side. So yep,
If it
keep
works
going.
on Madden, then clearly, so. But yeah, no, I mean, I think the 4-3 is probably going to work out well, or going to be a better scheme for the Packers. I like that. I think with the personnel, I also think that it helps us to hopefully be able to get Van Ness on the field better, or more, I should say. I think because I think, I mean, he's got a lot of raw skills. I just think he hasn't had a lot of opportunities to be out on the field, and I'm hopeful that that would kind of give him some more opportunities to kind of be a true pass rusher and hopefully develop that way. Um, I also feel like, at least my hope, or in being optimistic, is that this gives us a chance to maybe to capitalize on some of those skills and improve the defense, because I feel like we have some talented pieces, but we just haven't, in my mind, we haven't been as good as maybe we should be. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know much about Halfley though.
Okay, okay, I could appreciate that. Again, just a change from what you guys did, and also like LaFleur's been a similar to, like, okay, get someone that's a Fangio disciple or Vic Fangio scheme and try to play the bend but don't break, and you're not going to give up the big plays, but you're going to give up a ton of death by a million paper cuts or death by a million screens or slant routes, or just things over the middle. So it's a change up, and I'm excited to see it because I think that it's going to be a different challenge for the Eagles. I think that there's going to be some blitzing. Hafley does some interesting kind of exotic blitzes as well with the 4-3, and he likes to play press man. So, like in terms of you don't allow the offense to necessarily dictate terms. Now, that may lead to a little bit more big plays that you guys give up. So I'm interested to see how the Eagles maybe can take advantage of that because I don't know, you may be up on this, maybe not. This will tell, I guess, how much you watch my show. I'm sure you watch it religiously, of course. So you probably already know this, but
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts and the Eagles last year were not incredible versus the blitz, and Jalen didn't have the scheme to help him with that. Was not a great offensive coordinator, not a lot of good play calling. But the knock on him and I guess I don't know, the storyline or the I guess immediate way that he's viewed is like, okay, well maybe you get after him by blitzing, and so I think the expectation is probably going to see a decent amount of that on opening night to see has he changed, has Kellen Moore helped develop hot routes and answers for the blitz and things like that, but especially if the Packers are getting up there playing press man, Jair Alexander, you got Xavier McKinney, some difference makers potentially on the defense, then I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to see, does that change? Again, for me, I'm hoping like the Eagles take advantage of it, but for the Packers, it will be a different defense. So we'll see. As you guys could it'd be fine if you just want to lay an egg or have some difficulty in this first game, and then after that, you'd be great. Like that's fine if you want to start playing better after this first game, but you don't have to play fantastic in Brazil. That wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. Well, because I didn't know some of the backstory, but you've already given me my excuse now. So if we do lay an egg and it's not close, it's because we had to wear the green jerseys.
You just jinxed it. That's what it was. It was y'all's fault for wearing the green. So you can at least blame it on that now. So there's
I know I've got my excuse. If we look terrible, that's exactly what it was.
I love it. Shaq here is asking, is A.J. Brown really not playing? He is playing. A.J. is playing. Anthony answered that as well. But he is playing. There's no concerns. I will put it up here, too, just for people that are wondering or questions because you saw something that you weren't sure of. He was listed on the injury report, but that does not mean that we're any sort of concern at all. He's right there. Devin White did not travel with the Eagles. He's out. Isaiah Rodgers did travel, but he is out and not playing. Hang on, this is Wednesdays. Where's the other one? Let me get to it. There we go. There's Thursdays. Okay. So, and Isaiah Rodgers is out. Limited practice, hand injury, something with that. So he will not be playing. But A.J. Brown's fine, and so is Landon Dickerson. They got a full practice in. The status FP means full practice. So A.J. and Landon will be fine. No issues. Good to go. And I don't know. A.J. should get some good plays there. But we'll be excited to see that. So, anything else? Questions, comments? We'll probably go for a couple more minutes, but appreciate you taking the time. But do you have any parting shots, I guess? Any just last minute digs at the Eagles, or just a friendly wish of good luck to the Eagles? That the fans are still here as well, or I guess any questions for people still on the stream? If you have any last second questions, Edgerrin Cooper is I don't know if Edgerrin Cooper's starting or not. Do you know the linebacker who I was very high on from Texas A&M? He was a guy that potentially I was hoping the Eagles might draft, but I think he was maybe limited earlier in the week, and then I haven't seen for sure if he's back there. Do you know Edgerrin Cooper, if he's going to be getting some good playing time?
I don't know. You're saying like if he's injured or if he's just playing?
I guess either one, quite honestly. But I was looking at the injury report. I haven't.
So I can't remember. I don't know if he's injured. If he's injured, then he may be out. But I do feel like I remember reading that he was slotted to be the starting linebacker. So if he's not hurt, then he should be playing. But
okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he's got some potential, so we'll see about him.
Yeah.
But
yeah. No, I was happy about that pick.
For sure. Greg saying, Caleb, blame it on the hotel they stayed at. I heard it's 2 hours away from the stadium. I don't know if that's true, actually. Is that true? They stay 2 hours away from the stadium. I don't know what the
I
necessary setup is, but
that seems crazy, but you know what? I'm running with it. I'm not even gonna
don't even fact check it. Just be like,
not
yeah, hey,
even
the
gonna do
Packers
my
are
own
2 hours
research.
away.
I'm just using that one too.
The
So
Eagles were
if
15
anybody
minutes
asks
away,
me,
and the Packers were 2 hours away. So they had
yep,
some
yep. If it goes
struggles of.
south for us, immediately I'm using both of those. We were in Greens and we had to drive 2 hours to the stadium. So
There you go. I guess I don't mind it. Anthony, okay, I appreciate that. I didn't see. I haven't checked yet, but he says Edgerrin was listed as a full participant, so
okay,
seems
sweet.
like he should be good. No concerns about the linebacker there. All right.
I will say it'll be interesting because could y'all have a new defensive coordinator too,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. Full
Yeah,
blown a turnover for the defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator.
it
Sirianni's
should
not
be
even doing much.
interesting seeing both teams having new defensive coordinators kind of running, figuring stuff out. I will say the thing that I like for the Packers, at least looking at the kind of schedule, is like after playing the Eagles, I think it's like the next maybe three or four games. I remember looking at it earlier. Off the top of my head, I can't think of the exact games, but their first few opponents are not the most dangerous teams, I would say. So it hopefully will be a nice way to kind of warm up or kind of learn some of the new defensive schemes and that kind of thing, as opposed to being thrown in and facing the Chiefs and the Ravens and 49ers and trying to play some of these more elite teams.
Yeah, yeah. Get a little bit more time, but warm up, like you said, because yeah, you guys have Indianapolis, who I think actually would be pretty good, but got a home
I
game
think they'll be
for.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I can actually get that a little bit better for people to see that. There you go. Yeah, you got, but Indianapolis, you get a mini bye, play them at Lambeau, but then at Tennessee, home game to Minnesota, at LA, home game versus the Cardinals versus the Texans, and then
Yeah.
at Jacksonville. Yeah,
Like
there's
I
a
think
couple in there.
because I think like those first three. I mean, I think Indy could be good, but I think more so going based on just you got Anthony Richardson who's still kind of new, still figuring it out. Got hurt last year. Then you face Will Levis who's brand new, trying to figure out their offense. Um, I think sets up well, hopefully, for being able to take some time to kind of learn the defensive schemes.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I'm hoping we've got an early buy. You guys have a week 10 buy, so it's a little bit different. But I'm hoping that we can hit the ground running, start out well. 4-1. What is it? 4-1 or 3-1, something like that. 3-1, 4-0 going into the bye. Yeah, and then just get jump started after that. But I don't know. We got to start fairly decent. So hopefully, we beat you guys. Then y'all can get back on track after that. But still, as you said earlier, for people that did not hear, you've got the Eagles winning in a close one, but a close game.
I do.
Eagles dub. I've got the same. Thomas has I think an 11-point win, so it's more of a blowout. There's more confidence there, which I can appreciate optimism as well. But I'm just trying to, realistically where I think this thing's going to be at. So
he probably knew the news about us staying 2 hours away, and that's probably why he tacked on it.
Yeah. There's the automatic. So the 2 hours will make the difference for a couple more, but. It's fun, honestly, again, and I appreciate you hopping on. The fact that the NFL season is here, and it's time for parlays and picks, and we got the underdog picks as well. So again, shout out to the official sponsor of the show, Underdog, for lots of these giveaways. Make sure to like and subscribe, everybody. We do appreciate that as we're approaching the 75,000 mark. I'm going to be giving away the Isaiah Rodgers helmet. Lots of other cool giveaways too, and then just a reminder as well, Thomas and I are going to be live streaming or streaming live, however you want to put that, tomorrow night during the game. So come hang out with us. It's going to be a blast. I will just make sure and see. Anything else? Any other final words? Shout out to the family that you want to give? Anything there?
Just my quadruple your net worth lock. Packers.
You just
9.5.
keep doubling down on
over
this thing.
9.5.
Oh man!
People
if it
will
doesn't
take
hit, people are never gonna want you to come back. I don't know. Even if they were, it's like, oh my gosh! If they took the bet, they're just. Well, Good luck then. If you take the bet there, good luck. I don't know if I'm going that deep with the or that heavy in terms of like actually betting on that, but or at least with a lot of money, as you say, with a quadruple lock, double down, and everything else. But maybe a little bit. You sprinkle some of the futures, but I usually stick with kind of those daily picks or the weekly picks. But I guess that never hurts for a little bit. But as always, gamble responsibly. So Anthony says here, respect the Packers, but I gotta fly with my birds. There you go. That's where I'm at. Obviously, Sandy being my wife from Wisconsin, as you know, Packers fan-ish. She's kind of come over to the Eagles more and more. But her family obviously is still entrenched with the pack. So good for them. I would say good luck, but I would mean it. So anyway, appreciate you coming on, bro. This was a blast.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it was fun.
Like the good old days, chatting it up since we're further away to not actually talk in person as much. But
oh yeah,
give a like. Shout out to Caleb. Everybody, let him know, even if he's the fact that he's a Packers fan. Hey, Isaiah Rodgers is here. Look at that. There you go. Hanging out on the stream. He is, every once in a while he's creeping on the streams. But Eagles cornerback Isaiah Rodgers, last second, just chilling, asking what if I win the giveaway. I mean, I guess if you win the giveaway, I just ship it back to you, I suppose, right? Like it fits you, so that's it's just kind of an automatic. Like you get your helmet back. I mean, it's a signed helmet, but nonetheless, it works for you. Bro, I hope the hand heals up quickly though too. I'm assuming he's still hanging out, didn't just drop a comment and leave. But prayers for the hand. I'm glad to hear you guys made it safely, but bummer on the hand injury. Hopefully you're good to go for the real home opener back in Philly. So John M says, thanks for joining, Caleb. Greg saying, Caleb, come back on. It was fun. Nina, thanks for the live bros. This was fun. Anthony, get well, Zay. I'm waiting to see, actually, because I didn't expect... Zay every once in a while has, obviously I think that you've seen because I've shared the videos and everything else. We had the live stream and other interview and hanging out, going to the Smitty softball game and all that. So, like, every once in a while he makes comments, but I did not expect him to jump on with a quick what if I win the giveaway. So
yeah,
I'm delaying if we're going to get anything else for just a little bit. But if not, then see Nate says, tell us what happened about the hand. And then other people are wishing him well. Eagle One, get well, Zay. Anthony's good seeing Caleb on this, John. Heck yeah. I had to represent because it was automatic. It made sense since he's the Packers fan. But I don't know if we're going to get anything. That might have been just a quick ask. Also, I do understand. Like, there's rules as far as like what he's able to say injury wise. So we don't want to get him in trouble. Because there's only so much you can say in terms of injury reports. John M says, hope he didn't injure his hand typing on your chat. If he did, we love him anyway. Well, he was already injured, but yeah, hopefully he didn't injure it even more. Bro needs to just rest. Don't be playing the college football or Madden or anything like that. Although, I don't know if they face scanned his in there. Have you seen some of the other players? Like, it gone around, been a little bit viral of like some players that they haven't face scanned and they look like not even themselves on Madden. Have you seen that?
No.
There's some like terrible ones. Like if you just, I'm sure if you like Google it, it'll pop up, but it's like all over Twitter and everything else. But people were sharing the look on there of certain players that didn't get face scanned. And so like Isaiah is one of those players that, I mean, the dude that they have him there, it looks like a 50-year-old man. And he's just like, who is that, bro? Like, it's not even. And so I commented back whenever he shared that. And I was like, make sure that he's at least the 99 speed. And they're like, he was like, no, not this guy. He just doesn't look anywhere close to having the capability to be 99 speed. So
yeah.
It is funny
I never
every
know
once in a
what
while.
goes into it with those developers, but there are some I remember wondering is like every year you have a few guys on that game where you're just like, what were we thinking?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like who signed off on this?
I know it's for real because some of those, but again, like I feel like some are like placeholders, and they're like, oh, we'll eventually get the face scan, but
Hmm.
like, come on, it's more than time. They got to go ahead and get him in there because there's others. They usually have like the bus that they drive around. They literally have the players that like hop in and get the scan real quick, and then it inserts into the software, and then they're good to go. But they haven't done that for his, and there's several others too. But I think it's always funny whenever that happens. So.
Yeah.
All right, we still have not heard from him, so may have just been a very quick check-in, ask, and jump back off. But yes, Isaiah Rodgers was in the chat very briefly, but he does drop by occasionally. The Isaiah Rodgers TV is the official handle there. But we'll have him on at some point. Prayers for the recovery there. Again, appreciate you hopping on. And it looks like here in about a minute we have the official kickoff for the Chiefs and Ravens. So everybody enjoy that. NFL football is here. And love you, bro. This was fun. And we'll do it again soon. Maybe whenever we
Yeah.
meet in the NFC Championship game. Or
Hey,
before
there we
then.
go. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good.
Awesome. All
Love
right,
you, bro.
everybody. Y'all see it. Y'all know what it is. Till next time. Go Birds. Do you want to say go Pack go, or do you?
Go Pat, go.
Okay. But go Birds.